All right, so now let's see. So the first thing I want to do is say, like, look, there's a Visual Studio that's open up. You can download the Visual Studio 2019 or 2017. Really does not matter, okay? 2019 is newer version. So I'm going to use, so the school computer has 2017. Okay, so start. Okay, it's pretty quick. Does not take a lot of time to get started. All right. Are you okay, everybody? You still logging? Yes. Waiting, I'll wait for you. Anybody else? You're okay? Anybody else? You're okay? Good. The first time you log into school computer, it does take a few minutes. You have very good laptop. Are you okay? It's almost finished installation? Okay. You okay? You download it to this computer? You don't need for this computer? Yeah, you need to do that on your laptop. This computer already installed. Yeah. So just search Start in the Visual Studio. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. You okay? Good. Yeah. Download it from community version. It should be fine. Yeah, should be fine. But I think why don't you download the enterprise version, which is more powerful?
Okay, so how can I?
It's free. Yeah, yeah.
From the website, or should I
follow my steps. My steps give you the link. If you go to online, go to eCourse. There's a Get Started. Follow the link. Yeah, see that? Yeah, the second one, Get Started. You see, go down. So that very last one, Visual Studio. No, going up. I think this one, yeah. So just follow that, log in, and then download. So you should do that with your laptop. Okay. School computer already has a Visual Studio installed. All right. Are you okay? Okay. Are you okay? Still downloading? Okay, so that would take a while to finish installation. Why don't you just log on the school computer for now? Okay, log on, so that way you don't lose anything. Yeah, for people doing online, just remember, get this Visual Studio downloaded, and you know where to follow. Just follow the second, go to course material, go to second link, which is Get Started, right? So then follow that. So you already finished set up eCourse, and then just continue that. And I think that there's software list, and the very last item is Visual Studio. That's what you need to download. Okay, you need to download to your laptop, and then follow the instruction to install, and then bring your laptop to the next class. Okay, just in case you have questions, you have problems, we will help you. So that's the reason we want to set up like a hybrid class to give you opportunity to meet with me for me to help you to set up your computer, set up your software. All right. All right. So I'm still waiting for, what's your name again? Trying to remember your name. That's Stephanie. Okay, Stephanie. And Lauren. Yeah. Okay. Trying to remember everybody's name. Musa. Your name again? Adam. Yeah, Adam. Okay. Stephanie, logged in? Still working? Okay, your computer is still logging. is I don't remember. There's do you see the instructions? See which one should be checked? It's two. Okay. This will take a while. So we're going to learn how to create a new project and then explore the contents in a project. Okay. And then next day when you come back to the class, we'll start to learn how to do graphical user interfaces using like combo boxes, text boxes, buttons, all that. Okay. So today we just kind of like familiar with the environment we will be using. And I have extensive note already finished, already written. So you can just follow that. If there's anything that if you during my lectures, if there's any problem, you could not catch up, make sure you stop me, ask me to slow down. So I'll wait for you. Okay. But if you don't ask, I will assume that you are following me. Okay, all right. So, but in case, I don't know whether this class has student or not, but the database class, I think there's one student. He said he's not living in this area. He is from different areas, so he might need more extensive reading or video materials. So in that case, I have the written material for you to follow. Okay, finish? Not? You finished? You're good? Okay, so now let's see. After you have Visual Studio started, you're going to see something like this. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is first of all, I'm going to create a new project. So go to File, and New Project. Okay, and then make sure you select Visual C#, as a language. The Visual Studio allows you to do development in many different programming languages, like C#, Basic, C++, Fortran, all that, right? And even JavaScript. And so we will use C#, okay? You follow me? And then after that, you select something called a Windows Forms app, which has .NET Framework, Windows Forms app. Okay? You follow me? And then make sure you give a name for this project. This name is the project name. So project name will be in Pascal scale name. So you do see that there's no space inside. You can be made up of multiple words, but the first letter of each word is capitalized and everything else is a small letter. So I'm going to change that to say my first exercise. So I'm still following Pascal naming convention. Okay, and then you can choose location. You can say browse. Okay, I'm going to browse to desktop. So I will save the project to desktop. Okay, so that way I don't have to worry about looking for files. So just save that and press select folder. And now on your screen, you should see the name of the project is my first example. And then my location is your username and then /desktop. Okay. And then the solution name will be same as that name. And also the folder name, after you create the project, you will have a folder created. The folder name is also called my first example, first exercise. And also namespace name, there are quite a few names will be synchronized. So all this name will be synchronized. So you just need to give a name for the project. That's the only thing you need. And then select location. And don't worry about the framework. So framework by default is 4.6. So we don't really need anything to change the framework. Okay. And everything should be, question.
Quick question. So I have Visual Basic 20 or Visual Studio 2019, and it's a different framework? Do you want me to change it to 4.6.1?
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
For 19, you don't get this. Instead, you're getting something similar. So for example, you're going to get a list of a template, and you're looking for a template called a Windows Forms app, also .NET, something like that, .NET framework. So that after that it should be the same. Okay. So make sure you use C#. Okay. Don't use Visual Basic or Visual C++. And then you should make sure you use Windows Forms app. Okay. And then press OK. So now Visual Studio will start to create a project for you. The project will have a bunch of files. I will explore some of the files. Okay, perfect. So now let me tell you what we have, what was created. Let me see whether I can. Okay, so if you look at this screen, there's a form. There's called Form 1. That's that is actually the place, like a canvas for us to create like user interfaces. So for example, to put controls like text boxes, buttons, or anything on it. And those things are listed under the toolbox here. You go click on here, the toolbox. Okay, so for example, go to all Windows Forms, and it will give you a lot of things like a calendar, buttons, all that, right? So we are not using that today. So let's go back to the forms again. So on your right-hand side, you see Solution Explorer. The Solution Explorer basically at this point tells you that you have a bunch of files created already. So one file is called app.config, which is like a configuration file, which is XML file, which shows whether there's any application-wide parameters will be stored in here. So we are not doing anything inside there. And then there's another program. There's another file called program.cs. Okay, and that is actually starting place for the entire project. And this is a starting place. This is called a void, static void main. Okay, so in other words, when your project is compiled by the computer, and then your program start run from here, run from this line, these 3 lines. Okay, 3 lines of code. Okay, and we'll get into some definitions like compiler, compilation, just maybe next class. So just understand that this program.cs is a starting entry point for your program to start to run. Okay, and then there's a form1.cs, and that is a main file. That is the file which I showed you. So if I double click on that, you get the form, right? And then that file, if you look at the triangle here, just if you click on the triangle, it actually has quite a few small items inside. Okay, the one of that is forms1.designer.cs. We don't touch anything in here, and that is code generated automatically. If you put like a text boxes or anything onto the form, and then the code will be generated inside there. So you do not make any changes inside the designer.cs file. Does this make sense? Okay, and then there's something called a properties file, and one of them is called assemblyinfo.cs, and that is actually a very useful place to specify, for example, like a copyright, like a project title, all those information. For example, if I want to say give a copyright, right? So the copyright here. So the copyright, and then say there's a University of Akron. So make sure you type everything inside the double quotes, okay? So you say double quotes here, double quotes, okay? So if you type anything inside double quotes, and that will be given, the information you can change. And then say company, okay, assembly company. So you can type the University of Akron in there, and the configuration, assembly configuration. So in software industry, there are many different kind of configurations. We don't need to worry about that. And some kind of description, let's just type a description here. This is my first C# project. Okay, so again, type inside double quotes. That is text, right? So put inside that. You can change anything. So you can. So basically, the project-wide information will be stored in here. So after your compilation, all those information will be showing up as the properties of your project. Okay. All right, and what else we have? There's references. We don't need touch references. So basically, we are going to use a lot of built-in libraries, and those references will actually point into those libraries. For example, we use buttons, we use calendars, right? Without those references, you have to write a code from scratch. You typically will be thousands of lines of code to create simple button, or even more lines of code to create a calendar. Now, Microsoft already created those things for you inside the library, so you can just use those without reinventing the wheel. Make sense? So that's what the references is all about. We do not need to that. Okay. And then that's it, right? So those are the files we need. So just this is the name of the project. Okay. And now if I go to Forms 1, at this point, if you double click on Forms 1, you get this visual form, okay, the canvas. But if you right mouse click on it and say View Code, then you will be able to see the code page behind the form. And that the code you're going to write is going to respond to user actions. So for example, when you use a click button, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? You write a code to respond to that, right? And those code called event-driven code will be put inside here. So now let's look at the structure here. So here, this first part is called directives. You don't change anything for now, okay? Usually you don't touch anything in here. This is basically just like references will tell you that this project, the code you're going to write is going to rely on the system data collect generic collections, generic. So all this are ready for you to use. So basically, this just give you the directive for using those libraries. Okay, and then the whole thing is called namespace. It's just like a project. So surrounded by curly brackets, right? So this is opening, and this is a closing. So just remember that the first layer of code is namespace. Then inside that is class. So this is a class. Okay? Inside the namespace, you can have one or more classes. All right? And then inside the class, you're going to have functions. So this is one function. And then you can have other functions. So maybe one function to respond to user double click on the button. Another function correspond to user select or calendar item. And maybe still another function to respond to user select a combo box item. Okay, so all those will be written as functions inside the class. All right, so the code you're going to write for most of the part of this class is going to be inside here. And then toward the later part of the class, we are going to create something called a class. So anything that has nothing to do with event-driven coding, not responding to user actions, then we are going to put those code inside another place called a class. So if you go to project and add a class, okay, and then let's give a name for the class. Let's say that would be, say, employee, right? Employee class. Okay. And then anything related to employees, like employee handle their data, handle their job, handle their salary, promotion, managers, all that. I'll put all the code inside that class and then press add. Then you're going to create a code, write a code with, just for handling employees inside that class. Okay, look at here, still same namespace, but now you have a different class inside. Okay, so toward the later part of the class, we are going to do some of those, write some of those code also. Okay, and so that basically you have those are two places you will write a code, write actual program code. Okay, one is behind the forms, which is forms1.cs. which is opened by right mouse click on the form1.cs and then view code. Okay, remember that. And then the second place you write the code is to add code to the class. So go to project, add a class, okay? And then you can just write the code inside. All right. And now let's say whether there's anything else. So now let's go to the forms again. So usually we can just drag things, drag these controls. For example, if I want to have a calendar, let's say where's the calendar? Data time picker maybe? Where is it? Data time picker right here. So just drag the calendar into the form. And now you have a calendar ready for you to use. And this will give you all the days, or you can choose. All right. So that is this graphical user interface is all about. Yeah. Let's go to Toolbox. Okay. Then you say expand, say all Windows forms, and then you'll be able to see a lot of things inside. Right. You don't see? Did you have these forms one open? Okay, double click on that, and then you click on Toolbox here. You see that? It's not showing that.
It used to be there.
Okay, let me see. It's gone. Go to View. Do you see Toolbox in it? Okay. Yeah. Click on that. Yeah. Question? Yeah. Well, did you do all Windows forms? No, make sure your Windows form is open. So double click on Forms 1 first. Yeah, just make sure that's open first. And then you go to Windows. Yeah. All right. Any questions online? Anybody online has a question?
Yeah, for everything that you just did, will it be in a video?
Yeah, I'm recording the video. The video will be uploaded to Brightspace maybe tonight or maybe tomorrow morning.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. No, the thing I want to just show, just example, I demonstrate, I show that the data time picker. Data time picker. You see that? Yeah. Right here. It's a calendar, right? Okay, so you can drag anything there. You like buttons, right? You drag a button here, or if you want a text box, just drag text box. Okay, so that give you, so that's checkbox, right? So a lot of things you can drag. Okay, so we are going to do one standard thing next class. So for the rest of 5 minutes, I'm going to show you something cool. You can actually change this icon. You see the icon here? By default, this icon does not look good. So you can actually create your own icon by going to File, New, File, and then looking for icon right here. Okay, icon file, and then press Open. So here you can create either 16 by 16 or 32 by 32 icon, bit icon. And then let's say I will pick up a color here and then trying to draw something. Where is the pen? I think a pen is somewhere here. So let me see. Yeah, this is, can I delete this, close this? Okay. So now let's see, if I pick up a pen, a brush tool, okay, and I have a color here. And now let's say I want to just simply draw something here. Okay, so if you're an artist, you can create a more beautiful icons. So I'm going to do something simple. This is UA, right? Okay. And then after the icon is created, you can save that. Save icon as. Okay, so I'm going to save into the default place. So let's just say this is, what is the name? UA.ico. Okay, save. Now, so you can create more icons. You can create more of those kind of files, just in case you need. And now we can go back to the form 1 again. Okay, so there's form 1. Now let's say I want to change this icon for the form one. So what you need to do is make sure the form is selected, and then if you look at the bottom right corner, there's something called properties. We'll be using properties next class a lot. So for now, I just need to do icons. Icon. Do you see icon anywhere? You see? Almost about. Oh, right here. Okay, do you see icon here? Okay, so now let's say I want to click on the three dots button. And now you'll be able to see the icon file just created inside. And I press open. Okay, and now you see the icon will be applied. Not really. It's because the icon does not have, is this 16-bit? Okay, this is for 32-bit. So we also need a 16-bit icon too. So now let's go back to the icon again. Where's the icon? This one. Okay. So now let's do 16-bit also. So let's draw another picture, smaller one, red color. Okay, does not look good at all. Okay, but just show you the idea. Okay, save that again. Save that again. Okay. Now let's go back to the forms one again. Forms one. Okay, and then let's go to icon, folder, toward bottom. Right here. Okay. Okay, so now you see that the forms, this small icon is also changed. And then the big icon is showing, after you compile the code, the big icon will show up the file. Okay. All right, so now let's say what do we did today? We started Visual Studio, explore the Visual Studio files. Okay, and then we look at different files, like a program file, which is starting point for your program. And then the main file, which is for us to write a code or designing graphical user interfaces, is forms one. Of course, this name can be changed, but this form one, is by default created. And then we can also create our own classes, write a code which has nothing to do with events, with user actions. And then for anything that has to do, some like a project-wise parameters can be set in app.config. Okay, and the references are just like a reference to the libraries. Okay, and then inside properties, we studied how to do assembly info, change some kind of basic text inside. And then we learned how to do icons, all right? And now let's say after a project is finished, and I say I will close it, go to exit, and then you want to save everything, yes, save. Okay. Now, after you finish it, and you should, on your desktop, you should see a project, so project folder right here. So my first example. So if you click on that, there are a lot of files inside. The files we just created will be all inside here, okay? So there's a bin directory and debug directory. So after we compile, the code will be inside here. So we can actually double click on the executable file to run your project, okay? And we'll do that next class. So at this point, just know that your project is not just one file like this, or not just like one folder like this. It's actually entire folder. So all your project will be inside this folder, okay? So now if you need to submit your project to me for grading, of course you cannot submit the folder. So what you do is just right mouse click on the folder, right mouse click on the folder, and then go to send to compressed zipped folder, okay? And then this is the file you will submit to eCourse. Make sense? Okay, and now next time when you come back, say I want to continue the project, double click on that, and then double click on this, and then your project will be reopened, and then you can continue to work in the same project. Okay, so you come back, right? So remember Solution Explorer, and then double click the Forms one. You get user interface, right mouse click, go to View Code. You go to the coding page to write the code for the forms. And then you don't really, for now, you don't need to touch programs.cs. You don't need to touch app.config. You don't need to touch anything else, okay? Just make sure that you know how to get to the forms and the code behind, okay? So that is, now, if there's something open, something not, by default, you close it. For example, if this property is closed or this Solution Explorer is closed, then just go to View and then just select those things to get them back, okay? So for example, Toolbox, okay? So which one you want to be on Toolbox? And then if Solution Explorer should be also here, right here, yeah? So if you check those, then those things will be back again, okay? So don't close those. Those are a very good location. All right, and I think that's it. That's all for today's class. Does anybody have questions? So next Wednesday, I will be saying other half of the class. But for students already in here, you are welcome to come back too. That you can do online. Just in any case, make sure you have Visual Studio ready for next class. All right? Anybody online has a question?
So I guess I have a question. Let's say we're working on a project online. Are we ever
Yeah.
going to need to like save it and then bring it into class to continue working on it? And like, how would that work?
Oh,
Just send it to ourselves, or how?
you probably need to, yeah. Unless you save to your cloud drive, like a Dropbox or Google Drive. Otherwise, you do need to have like a zip drive, like a jump drive to copy your entire folder and then bring to the class. Or if you want to bring your laptop, then it does not matter. You can just use the same laptop to work on it.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody else has a question? People doing online, are you okay to have Visual Studio be ready by the next class?
Yep.
Okay, good. So if you have any questions, I will be always available to help you, okay? So for example, just send me email or some other ways to get me attention. And then I'll open up a video, open up a WebEx, and I will help you online, okay? Just make sure by the next class, you'll have Visual Studio ready, all right? Good. So if there's no more questions, I will say everybody Wednesday. Have a good night.